Good morning, YouTube. How are? Hope everyone is doing well today. You notice on this video, I have no instruments in my hand. I thought I would just have a talk with you, musicians out there who are trying to get better and maybe getting a little frustrated. Today, I want to talk about how to practice so that you can maximize your time, don't get frustrated, and actually improve, get better. I'm going to just sort of just go with whatever comes in my brain. Um, Now again, if you watched any of my videos, I have really no interest in, well, some little interest in becoming the Kenny G's, the top flight. I'm just talking for us regular folks, us regular people who want to play guitar or saxophone or piano or cello. Doesn't matter. I noticed that a lot of people love music, but they quit. Yeah, I met people that say I used to play, I used to love it back in high school. But I just gave it up. And I wonder why that is. Could it be the way we're being taught, the way we go about it, the way we practice? So anyway, I have some thoughts. If you have thoughts on this that you think can help other people out, take the time, if you wouldn't mind, to put some of your thoughts down in the commentary, the comments down there. If you've got a trick that really kept you engaged, just kept you feeling the music, um, then put a comment down there. It might help somebody out. The first thing I want to talk about when you're studying music, actually, this is true when you're studying anything. I'm studying Spanish right now. You're studying engineering. There is a thing called balance. It's a Goldilocks problem. You have to figure out that's too much, that's too little. You're trying to find just right. So what exactly are we balancing here when we're studying music? When we're studying music, and I mean not studying music like we're going to college for music. We're studying music for our own enjoyment. So there is a work element versus a play element. If you're working too much, you're not playing. But if you're playing too much, you're not working. So hence we have a Goldilocks issue going on. So in a minute, I'm going to give you a suggested practice routine that takes this into consideration. You gotta work at it, but you gotta enjoy it. You gotta be enjoying the work. If some of you can merge those two together, beautiful. For me, I am very conscious that I am working, I'm pushing, but then I'm very conscious that I'm just flowing in this moment. Or another balance issue is you're playing what's familiar versus you're playing something new, unfamiliar. Now that is kind of akin to work play because we do enjoy playing what we know, but you just don't want to stay on Mary Had a Little Lamb forever. So you're gonna have to stretch yourself, but then take care of yourself. Um, Now, here's a couple of little points to consider. Um, there's this big argument about should you learn to read music or not, and that's a I think sight reading is a good thing. It's a good thing. If you put a piece of music in front of me and it's complicated and I've never seen this music before, and you tell me just play that, I probably would have a hard time. But if I'm in my practice room with that piece of music, I know that that note is an A flat, or that note is a D flat, or that note is an A, or that. So I can learn a piece of music by sight reading it. But on command sight reading, I haven't practiced that skill. I don't see lot of value in that. Practice is about structuring your time so that you get the maximum return on investment, which starts with knowing what your goals are. I see people all the time say, well, I like all kinds of music. Well, that's fine when you're listening to it. But at some point, you're going to have to decide, are you a country player or gospel player or a folk player or jazz player or a rock and roll player? Because to try to take it all on as a musician, that's tough. It's a lot easier to be the listener than it is to be a musician. So balance your time, and I'll get into that more when I give you a suggested practice routine. What is music anyway? Any kind of music. What are the components of music? You have melody, you have harmony, and you have rhythm. That's it. That's it. So doesn't matter if you're playing the most simple song up to the most complicated song. You're going to have those three elements. Now, in our practice room, we have the luxury to bust those apart. Now, actually, I'm doing melody and rhythm. But even if I don't care about the rhythm, I'm just trying to find the melody. So my keyboard is down here, down that way, so you can't see it. And I purposely did not put it. This is not about teaching you to play anything. But in the practice room, you could separate melody, harmony, and rhythm and get good at each one of those three legs on the bar stool by itself. And then when you are putting all back together, now you got a song or a chord progression or whatever. Here's another point to consider, and again, these are in no particular order. Practice is very different than performing. When I was playing basketball 1,000 years ago back in high school, my coach used to say, we practice hard so we could play easy. If you practice easy, now you're going to perform hard. So my coach would like kill me in practice. Oh my goodness, we'd go home and have to take 4 naps. But in the game, we were prepared. So it really is your own personal classroom, your sanctuary, where you are reinforcing what you already know, but you're pushing to, as they always say, another level, with all these little cliches they throw around. In other words, you're getting better. A couple of notes for you to jot down, or at least consider when you are entertaining this thing called music. One, record yourself. Now I can hear you now. Yeah, well, why would I record myself? I stink. I can't even play anything. Growth in music is so incremental. You don't even know you're getting better until you listen to that recording that you made 6 months ago, and you say, "Oh, well, I guess I'm better than that." It's such step by step, inch by inch growth. And I actually think that's another reason why people get frustrated with it, because we live in this world of instant gratification. So you've been playing piano for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you want to play Hezekiah Walker. But you can get there if you're willing to take the step by step by step by step. When you think you're frustrated, go back to that recording you made a year ago and listen to yourself. So record yourself and throw it in a drawer. Throw it on your hard drive or however you record. And then reward yourself that says, I am making progress. Now let me dovetail that into another point. It's what I call pride playing. I like to play golf. And for years, I did not know I was playing pride golf. In other words, when I hit a good shot, I wanted somebody to see that. I wanted somebody to applaud. I wanted somebody to notice that I hit that ball right down the fairway. So I was playing for show, for pride. And musicians are guilty of this as well. They want the applause. And who doesn't? Who doesn't? But be careful that you're not pride playing instead of growth playing. You're playing to get better. You're playing to share an emotion. It's not, at some point, it's no longer even about you. You play what you can play. Some people are better than you, some people are worse than you. Don't worry about that. But if you're pride playing, you can get frustrated. And I think and I'm sorry, music teachers out there, if I'm offending anybody, don't mean to. I think there are some music teachers that are, with good intentions, teaching pride playing, like with their recitals and it is. I've never met one student who says, wow, there's a recital coming up next week. I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun. Yeah, we dread these recitals because it puts the spotlight on us, and I mean, it's good for the parents that say, oh, that's my kid up there. Oh, but the kid hates it. So I don't even know why we do it. I've never played in a recital, and I'm doing just fine. I'm still breathing. So we almost suck the fun out of it for the musician. Um, so careful with pride playing. Now, I don't know what kind of music you're playing, but if you're after perfection, if you're after applause, if you're after see what I can do, see how flashy I have become, you can get frustrated. So watch out for that. Dovetailing into another point, that we need to honor process more than outcome. Outcomes take care of themselves. So the journey of learning how to do something with an instrument should be fulfilling in and of itself. The journey of it, the doing of it, but if we're outcome driven, then we start skipping steps. And the metaphor is, if you're going to build a building, you better have a good foundation under that building, because you can build the tallest building in the world, but if you don't have good foundations, and this is true in sports, this is true in life, this is true in music. Without a good foundation, under pressure, that building is going to crack. But conversely, if you take the time to get good fundamentals, and this is where a good teacher can help you. If you don't skip steps and just try to get to the outcome any old way, then you're gonna feel more confident in your playing. And plus you're gonna enjoy it more. So I would suggest, especially for my lovely beginners out there, just regular folks that's got an instrument in their house and they just enjoy music, they enjoy playing music, don't be so quick to play songs. Don't run and say, I want to play this and I want to play that. And you're missing foundation. You don't even know your scales, you don't know your arpeggios, you don't have a curriculum to take you from A to B to C to D. So let's say you're a student of mine, and you say, well, I would like to play gospel. Well, we're not even thinking about gospel. You got to learn your scales, you got to learn your arpeggios, you got to learn chords, you got to learn chord inversions. I got a little list of things that you got to get under your belt. But these things can get kind of boring. Who the heck wants to? Who wants to do that for an hour and a half? Maybe you can trick yourself, get a backing track, or play against some songs or something like that, and make it more fun. But particularly adults, we want to cut to the chase, and there are a lot of people that will allow you to do that, but there's only so high you're going to build that building unless you put a good foundation under it. So rather than play songs, learn notes. Notes become chords. Chord becomes chord progressions. And then chord progressions become songs. in that order. No shortcuts. No, this music is a very organic kind of thing. If you're a gardener, you cannot snatch the corn out of the ground. You just cannot do that, or you're gonna have some. Not the corn's not gonna taste that good. If you see the metaphor. Now, makeup exercises and games. So no matter what, enjoy wherever you are. If you're a beginner, enjoy being. I like being. I mean, if you look around my studio, I have all kind of instruments in here. Some of them I'm not even on book one hardly, and I enjoy that. I enjoy going back to kindergarten. Um, Here's another thing that I think people don't recognize. When you're in your practice room, play badly. Play badly in the practice room on purpose. Now I know. What? What? If you're playing badly, that means you're pushing yourself. You're stretching yourself. Now, again, I'm going to give you a practice routine. You can play well in the practice room too, but don't leave. Don't just go in your practice room, play all the songs you know, and leave. You didn't grow in that. So at least part of your practice time, you should be fumbling, struggling, stretching, because that's just a part of the game. Um, I want to mention this while I'm thinking of it. When you sit down to practice, always warm up. Doesn't matter if you're playing a horn, doesn't matter if you're playing a stringed instrument, doesn't matter if you're playing the drums, doesn't matter if you're playing a guitar. I don't care what you're playing. Warm up first. Get a warm up routine. Now, warm up is not only for fingers, it's for mind, it's to get you in a space. It's like getting ready. It's like if you show up at a baseball game early, you'll see people out there stretching, and it's the same kind of concept. Okay, here comes a big one. It takes time. It just takes time. It takes years. It takes years. It takes. You are on a journey that you cannot master. Now I'm going to pause and let that sink in. You are on a journey. The only thing you have control over is to get better. But you are doing something. I don't care how good you get at it, you can get better. You're just someplace on the road. You're on a journey that you cannot master. They said John Coltrane, who arguably was one of the greatest saxophone players who ever lived, still practiced his saxophone 6, 7 hours a day before he went to his gigs. They say he would fall asleep with the saxophone in his mouth. So if he has to practice, guess what us regular folks have to do? So here comes some tips for practice time. Get a place to practice if you can. Now, I hate to show you around my studio. I am a blessed man. I got a nice place to practice. I got it set up that this is a music room. It's for no other purpose. There's nothing but music things in here. I don't have to share it with the kitchen table or flip over the car in the garage. I have a home music studio. Here comes my buddy. He gets to come in and play with me. If you can do that, beautiful, beautiful. It just sets your mind to I am coming in this room to practice. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I come in this room to play, but I know the difference. A time to practice. If you can get consistency in your practice, you're gonna make a lot more progress. So, if you do your practice at 10 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock at night, see if you can get that as consistent as possible. Also, if you want to get any good, a little bit of practice every day is way better than 6 hours of practice on Saturday. You want to do a little bit incrementally every day. Maybe you can take a day off, but at least 5, 6 days a week, you want to be doing something with your instruments. And this is why don't follow me. Don't try to play 7 or 8 instruments. Get an instrument you love and just get pretty good at that. Okay? One thing that a lot of people don't consider is you want to get in a mood to practice. You want to like practicing. You want to look forward to practicing. Your mood is such that you got yourself in a mental space that you're ready to go to work on whatever it is that you're doing. And then that leads me right to my final point about practice, is practice with purpose. You don't want to come in your practice room and meander around and just see what happens. So I'll give you an example. Today I want to nail down all 5 of my pentatonic scales on the guitar. I want to nail that down. I knew that before I walked through the door. Okay, and when I leave, I want to have those on solid, rock solid. Another example. Today I'm going to pick up fingering for major scales on the piano. So you see, I have a purpose. Now, if you don't know what to do, this is where a good book will help you, or a good video will help you, this is what teachers are for. Because the teacher can guide you that this comes before that, this comes after that, no, don't do that, that's later, this comes first, a teacher can help you that, or a good book can help you with that. Because you can't do PhD work and you're not even out of high school. So give yourself some joy in wherever you are and whatever it is you're doing. Now let me finish this up with a suggested. Let's say you got a half hour. I'm gonna go by percentage just because I don't know how long you practice. So, as I already mentioned, first thing, warm up. Warm your fingers up, warm your mind up, warm your brain up, stretch yourself out. Find in every instrument book worth its salt is going to give you some warm-up exercises. So warm up. Now the next thing you want to do is play something familiar. Play a song you know. It's an extension of warm-up. Take 5 minutes and just play something that you like or play something that you know. Get you in the mood now. Okay, so now we've been at this 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. But we have 30 minutes to go. So now for the next 15, 20 minutes, or maybe 40, 50% of your practice, maybe 60% of your practice, we're going to stretch. We're going to work on whatever this purpose is we set out to do. We're going to work on those pentatonic scales, or we're going to work on major scales, or we're going to work on chord inversions, or whatever it is. In other words, we're warmed up, we got ourselves in the mood, now we're going to work. And we're not just going to just wait and see what happens. It's good to keep a little journal of what you're working on. So today I'm working on X, and tomorrow I'm working on this, and I kind of got that. So what you're doing is you're trying to move things from hard to do to the column of pretty easy to do. That's all practice is. Yeah, that was kicking my butt last week, but I kind of got it this week. That's all practice is for. It's for making progress. Now, first thing, warm up. Second thing, just do something you like. Just play a song or a scale or something that moves you or whatever. And then a good chunk of your practice time, you're going to work. Now, after you do that, you say, cool, my brain's a little tired, fingers are tired. Now, after that, check something in your fundamentals. You don't want to be learning something so new that you're forgetting old. Check your fundamentals. Even though you think you know it. So maybe on piano your fundamentals are major 7th chord, all keys. Well, it takes you all of 30 seconds to go and play that. check to make sure your fundamentals are still on lockdown. And then lastly, go out with some kind of performance. Go end your practice the way you began it, with something inspiring, something, even though there's nobody around. In other words, you're performing for yourself, and so you're giving yourself a reward that I actually am getting better. I'm improving. Remember, this is a game. We cannot master it. The only thing we can do is to get better. So let me go through that again. It's just a suggestion. Every practice session may not look like this, but it's just a suggestion. And oh, by the way, I think these suggestions are true not just with music, but in a lot of things. But warm up. Do something inspiring. Play something inspiring. Go to work. Now, the go to work part, that's consuming at least half of your practice time, maybe more than that. Okay? Check your fundamentals. Don't let things just come in the front end and fall off the back end. Make sure your fundamentals, whatever they are, guitar is different than brass instruments or stringed instruments, and then go out with something kind of inspiring again. And then document your practice if you can. Record every now and then. Keep a practice journal so that you can look back and plan your next practice. Okay, that's it for today. Again, hang in there. Don't quit. It's slow work, but to me, there's nothing much better than this. And if you have some suggestions that I hadn't thought of, put them down there in the comments. That might help somebody else out. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to all you musicians very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.